Folks, welcome to another episode of Collector's Christmas. I'm Carl Choi, the publisher and co-founder of 24/7 Comics. Now, why is this Collector's Christmas episode very special to me? Because today, not only am I going to unpack physical items from my collection, but I'm also going to unpack my experiences from San Diego Comic-Con 2025. And as of today, I want to share a little something very special with you. We're at 396 subscribers in our channel at 24/7 Comics HQ, and we're 4 away from 400. We have a goal to hit 500 by the end of this month, and so you could actually help. And to reward you, we are going to facilitate our very first giveaway on Collector's Christmas. And what are we giving away? Well, we are giving away this very special limited edition Spider-Man Magic the Gathering #1. These are very limited. You could find them on eBay for a lot. But here's the deal. We're also going to give away a few packs of these starter packs from Magic the Gathering, because me, as a big fan and player of Magic the Gathering, I want you to play. So once you learn to play, you could come join me at the next OAX or another convention and join in on the game. Now, here's the deal. We are going to ask you to help us spread the word. So all you gotta do is like, comment, subscribe, and in our comments, say anything and something with the word Spider-Verse. So once again, put something with Spider-Verse, whatever you want. I love the Spider-Verse. I'm from the Spider-Verse. Or, I don't know, you make it up. But once we hit 400, we will activate the giveaway. And at the next episode of Collector's Christmas, I'm gonna do a live drawing, and then you can keep us accountable. And the top 3, we will ship these items. So this beautiful, amazing Spider-Man book that basically was already bagged up and was delivered through this little donut works. That's the grand prize. And then, the 2 runner-ups can pick from one of these Spider-Man starter packs. If you're in the Spidey or you know someone that's in the Spidey, please pass them this video and ask them to subscribe, like, and comment below, because it really helps us with the algorithms and to grow this channel. And big hugs and shout out to my buddy Don Maddock, who is over at Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, and he gave me a little tour and allowed my nephew and my good friend Jeff to hang out at the Magic the Gathering Spider-Man experience. So I would love to share that with you guys. So here's a little recap of the experience. All right, now to the original art pickups. Now, it's really interesting because it was not intentional, but Friday turned out to be this original art day. Now, why this experience was different from me is typically I've been going to the Comic Cons for the last 10 years, and it's really about getting stuff done. But this year, my nephew Bryson wanted to hang out and check it out, and so I invited him along, and he joined me, and I also joined him because I experienced so much that I normally wouldn't do. So I'll share some of that towards the end of the video, but in the meantime, I want to do a quick shout out to my good friend Lance Soares, who invited me to a lunch on Friday. Got to hang out with a lot of great people. Not only did he invite me to go hang out, he brought me this amazing book from Travis Wright. This is a remark book. I don't know how often Mr. Choi actually does remarks anymore. If you remember Gotham by Gaslight, they just keep reprinting these. This copyright was May 2024, and I remember growing up with some of these books. So Lance, thank you so much. Now, furthermore, those who are fans of comic art fans would love to also shout out the whole crew who Lance brought together over lunch. From left to right, we have Mr. Jeffrey Wedding, the Star Wars man, Mr. CEO Kazra. What's up, Kazra? My nephew Bryson, say hi. Of course, Calf Father himself, Bill Cox, and then my Asbat brother, Daryl, and of course Lance, and then Mr. Meme Master himself, Marcus Y. So it was not only a great lunch, but we also had a chance to do some art sketch. I mean, I haven't drawn for like years, and all of a sudden, Kazra busts up these cards, and all of a sudden we're drawing. And so, here's a little selfie we did with everything we drew, and then here's a little sketch that I did of Batman, which was a little embarrassing. And to top it off, we had a chance to also check out a live flip of a sketchbook that Marcus had handed off to our friend Jiggy over at Next Comic Art. And then it was super fun. And, overall, I think that really kicked off kind of like my Friday comic art day. And then the highlight to unpack was the highly anticipated comic art panel that was moderated by our very own Mickey Finnegan, aka Swaggle. Now, check it out.
I'm just a guy who's very passionate. I have a YouTube channel. Some of you may know me as Swaggle. Otherwise, my name is Mickey Finnegan. And I'm here to just talk about the panel today. And we have an incredible group of guys that are going to be able to share their expertise with comic art, collecting, dealing, selling, as practices, all the types of things that you guys want to know on your comic art collecting journey.
And in fact, setting the tone, Mickey actually, when it comes to art collecting, showcased a few of the pieces on the big screen. These are like big pieces, and huge examples. And just fair warning, most of the collectors who sold these probably picked them up ages ago for pennies on the dollar compared to today's prices. So don't expect to go, shopping and get lucky, bargain hunting, and then, show up and with auction results like that. But hey, you never know. That's kind of part of the thrill and fun surrounding collector and original art. In fact, Mickey did such a great job promoting it. We had a huge turnout. There's probably at least like 150 people show up to it all. Like many of you probably subscribed to his channel, Swaggle, he was literally plugging it like on every video leading up to SDCC. And in fact, take a look at when Mickey asked how many newcomers to original comic art world was. It was quite the showing. So check it out.
And don't own anything, but maybe you're slightly interested in collecting art. Oh, nice. Well, that's even better. Good for you.
So the turnout was amazing. Programming wise, I thought Dinesh and Mike did a great job curating amongst our friends what was going to be shown. And so here's a little kind of a makeshift rack that we built, and we laid out some of the art that we love. These three being the main attraction to the show. It was heavily promoted, as you guys saw on the flyer, and we gave away a lot of free art, like sketch cards. With that said, why don't I go right into unpacking? And I've been looking forward to unpacking this for a very long time. Here it is, guys. X-Men number 8, page 8. Boy, when I look at this, it really brings me back. I remember growing up, turning the page, seeing it, and then turning the page back to it, because I was so kind of mesmerized by like what's being drawn here, because comics speaks to us in many ways, and often is not really like, in this kind of way. I remember just stopping and staring, and look, this page was one of the very first pages that I fell in love with when I joined CAF. There was a gentleman who had it on his CAF, and it was like his ultra grail. And I remember reaching out to him and was saying, hey man, like if you ever would be interested in letting this go, please let me know. I don't actually remember what our interaction was like. I don't know if he agreed to it or not or whatever, but some years later showed up on Comic Link. And I still remember as soon as I saw it, I had to basically ask some of the friends that I thought may also be interested to please let me take a stab at it. Somehow, some way, it happened. But I have to admit, this was also a major cause of how I collect, especially in transitioning from a lot of the modern art that I picked up over the last few years, and even just during pandemic. I just didn't know better. I think I really into like the hype of the new books and what's happening. Sometimes the promotional side of kind of the art reps kind of draw you into it, right? They're great art, but nothing like this. This just brought so much nostalgia. It's a Ghibli. I've been looking for Jim Lee for a very long time, and I think this is probably one of the best examples. And in fact, I really believe this is actually better than is out there. It's way more iconic than what's out there. That said, let me dive a little bit into comic art fans. I posted it on Comic Art Fans as the iconic Psylocke moment, and obviously it got a lot of attention. I mean, I have something around 49 comments and almost 1,300 views already. And I want to show a few things that kind of brings me back. It's one, the actual page itself, colored. I think black and white is even more engaging, but I still remember, like, if you read this, I think the Charles Professor guy, I think the professor is, and he was perfect, and like he was just totally like caught off guard by Psylocke coming out of the water, and of course, like, Jean Grey was like, "Excuse me." I love the lettering here. It's like, "Oh, Jean, you remember? I'm flattered." And I don't know what happened here, but somehow her hair kind of disappeared. Maybe it's kind of wrapped up, but it went from like super long, thick hair to down the neck to this. So I think that's something that gets criticized. And the eyes, locking eyes. Sorry, my mind must have been elsewhere. It's freaking hilarious. And then Dinesh also sent me this. During the 90s, this is like 92. This was used as an ad on the back of like every single freaking Marvel comic, or maybe just comics in general, because it was used with like a catalog. And I don't know if this is even legal back then, or they paid to use it, but they basically cut out Psylocke and they threw it. Oh yeah, maybe they did. This is Marvel Comics right there. So I think there's a lot of memories to a lot of folks. There's obviously the cover for issue 8 featuring Bishop. I think there's also another very, very memorable cover to the X-Men series. You guys go on Comic Art Fans, definitely check it out. All right, so speaking of the show itself, obviously this was one of the 3 pages that was shown during the show. There was no mention of who the owner was, but at this point, I'll own it. And in fact, I posted it on Comic Art Fans before showing it up here, and really just pure excitement. So if you're coming to this video from Comic Art Fans, hello. But if you're seeing this here for the first time, please go on my Comic Art Fans and leave a comment. It'll be fun to kind of hear your story and experience and memory surrounding this. Now, just because I jumped the gun on the Jim Lee piece, I didn't want to leave you, my 24/7 Comics crew, hanging. So with that said, please allow me to share and unpack another cover for you. But first, check out some of these videos.
Today we're going to be talking about Superman, A Friendship Unleashed Issue 1 by Ivan Cohen, Travis Mercer, and Andrew Dullhouse. James Gunn's upcoming Superman movie gets a tie-in series ahead of its release.
We have a newest, hottest, greatest, latest comic bookist in town, and it stars everybody's lovable pet superdog, Crypto. That is right. Superman, A Friendship Unleashed #1 is absolutely going crazy in the secondary market.
This next book is something I did not see coming. Number 8 on the list, Superman, A Friendship Unleashed #1. We have a Milkbone promotional comic book. It's a comic book that comes with a box of dog biscuits, and it is going crazy. Welcome, Davis Ryder, to the show. I hear you got some dog treats.
Yeah, so they literally just put the comic on top of the box of dog treats and put that in a bigger box with a minimal amount of packing paper. So if anything were to hit the box where the comic is totally done. And even so, luckily that didn't happen for mine, but it definitely bounces around a little bit. So mine came in like VF plus condition. I imagine that's how most of them will be.
The future of the comic book market is about to change forever, because in this box just might be the very first copy graded of a Superman Friendship Unleashed, and it might be the only 9.8 in the world. All right, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 9.8.
Yep, that's right. I got the cover. You saw it right. Me holding it below the 20-foot billboard that was at San Diego Comic-Con. I didn't know they were, blow it up and make it that big, but man, that photo was crazy. Literally shortly after I picked up this Superman Friendship Unleashed #1 cover, I walked over and boom, it was right there. It was like this 20-foot tall billboard, so I had to ask my nephew to take a picture for me. So I definitely missed out on the Milkbone comic itself, but I managed to get my hands on the original cover art, and I guess that's what really matters to me. Now, why is this so satisfying is because I actually love the Superman movie by James Gunn. He freaking crushed it, and I literally was craving and fiending a Superman crypto cover. And I was talking to Mike, and I was like, man, I need to find one. And all the dealer sites that had them, they were just so overpriced. And I get it, just because the times, right? Everyone's thinking about it. And so what I do, I started hitting up all the artists that did Superman crypto covers, and someone got back to me, which was Travis Mercer. He hit me back and closed that deal with quickness. It was not easy, to get something like this, and this doesn't come up often. As you can tell, this has kind of now been part of the whole Superman crypto history. So I'm very happy. I mean, this was another piece that I got to pick up, and yeah, even as I look at it now, I actually think it's one of the best covers from anything that had to do with the movie. Alrighty, now speaking of Jim Lee, one of my collecting goals has always been to own the best example from each of the Image founders. But I'll admit, sometimes I'll even pick up small fixes along the way while I'm searching for that, just to get me through the hump. And one founder I've always been hunting a piece from is Mr. Rob Liefeld himself. So when I had a chance to attend his Youngblood 33 anniversary panel, I had to be there. And so let's jump into his Instagram and see. He was signing and promoting like no tomorrow. Look at all these variant covers, and his signature is so consistent, right? I think I don't know how he does it. I don't know if he does it live or as a stamp, but it's super consistent. And I think this was the major book that he was promoting, which was Giant Size Youngblood, #1. This book is dope. Darker Image. But yeah, obviously tons of Deadpool signings. So yeah, man, this was a really fun panel. So I brought some highlights back for you guys. So definitely check it out.
33 years ago, we launched Image Comics, and it kicked ass because all of you were there. You all kind of look old like me. Okay. And I'm going to tell you about Murat, and I'm going to tell you about Norm, and I'm going to tell you about Danny, and then they're going to talk because I want to hear their recollections. Danny gave me the best answer. He's like, I'm not trying to remember 33 years ago on Extreme. And I'm like, we are the same dude. But here's the thing. I met Murat at a comic convention, I met Norm at a comic book store, and I met Danny at a comic book store. Those are that is comic books. That is comic books. 2 Hall of Fame inkers, and one of those badass comic book artists and creators ever in comics. And we all met at comic book stores. And I gave them jobs. And I was 23 years old. And Extreme Studios was not a business. Danny, let's talk. What do you remember about us meeting?
How I got into it, or
How you and I met?
oh, meeting Rob. I worked at Jeffrey's Comics in Gardena, California, on the weekends.
Ooh, Jeffrey's.
And Rob was coming down for a signing, and I got there, and I go, oh, he's coming down for a signing. I'll make some prints, and I printed out the sample piece of the Punisher I inked or something like that when I was being an assistant for another person. And that line was around the block. Literally, I don't know how long that was. It went around. Remember Jeffrey's Comics?
Oh, yeah, it was Youngblood #1.
Mile
Yeah.
long.
Our most prolific pencilers, and his work was brilliant. But I took pride in empowering these guys, but they were such a kick to watch. And it was all because these guys had a work ethic. Because again, Danny's like, you're paying me what? And I can do how many pages? Unlimited. And Norman, unlimited.
So it's really cool for Rob to host this panel, and he really knows how to work the room. I think he really understands the power of fandom, because I didn't know this, but he was giving out these books, and it's a kind of a remastered version of Brigade. He had 20 artists work on it. It was crazy. And every one of these books were signed. I was wondering if he uses a print, because the way the signature is a little different. And he obviously did this very glossy cover. You can see the ring light. These are remastered copies of Brigade. And it also flips into Airborne. I'm guessing it's one of his new IPs. Looks very sci-fi-ish. This edition is cool. It's cool to have, and I think with this kind of cover, I think it's easily gradable. So I think a lot of people will prefer and love. And super impressive, by the way. Honestly, a huge feat for an independent publisher to get all these names. You could read it, but all these 20 names involved. And dude, this man doesn't stop, because I listen to his podcast. He has always a lot of good stuff to say. And to get 20 artists to contribute to a remastered version of your book. I know he's a famous dude. I mean, he's kind of like a childhood hero to many of these artists. So I'm sure they just speak down to help him out. But man, it's a lot of art to coordinate. So I think he also runs a very small, tight ship, and so for them to really get all these artists together, very impressed. I'll say that. Brigade. All right, now speaking of Brigade, there was a gentleman there who asked a question to Rob, and then he showed Rob personal collection, and it freaking blew my mind. Check it out.
Been since 2011. Oh, nice. I've been getting one here and there before they all got really expensive.
No way.
Hey, guys, you gotta get a picture. Okay, well, okay. Can we go out this way? Can we go out this way?
Hey, are you set up? Can I get a picture with you later? Like, are you in Artist Alley?
You guys have to leave.
too.
We have to
Okay.
leave.
Are you down there somewhere?
I'm at the Hot Flips booth.
The which one?
Hot Flips, right by the door.
Okay, I'll find you.
I'm there from 10 to 11 every day.
Cool.
I mean, 10 to 1.
Okay, I'll find you.
Sounds
Thanks,
good,
man.
man. Good
Bro.
to see you, bud.
Thanks.
Your collection is insane.
He had the original Prophet 1 cover. He had the Brigade double page spread cover, and he even had a few Bloodstrike covers. I mean, it was like walking into a Rob Liefeld time capsule, and in the best way possible. This was the perfect example of how you can discover original art anywhere. You never know. Often we go on Comic Art Fans, we go online, we go to auctions. But if I hadn't attended that panel, I would have never come across a folder of gems from someone who just preferred to stay low key. And sometimes you just gotta show up, and you'll have these discoveries. All right, so let's get to the unpacking for this part. No, I did not get anything from that folder. I mean, I'd be so lucky to even be coming so close to it. I did get the next best thing. And all right, guys, so coming back to this, that photo with Mannix is always awesome. And honestly, it just does not do it justice. I don't know if this lighting's better or this lighting. Gosh, he recreated Youngblood 1 cover in the most fantastic way. And you guys see I have a lot of Mannix on the wall, from my Azrael triptych to my Unity 0 cover and my Conan 1 cover. Gosh, his stuff displays really well, and that's why I always hang his stuff. Mannix just does a great job of recreations. I think he's kind of built a reputation for himself. My friend Lance also does a lot of stuff for him from Mannix. This was an awesome highlight because I think this is the next best thing to the actual Youngblood 1 cover. Freaking Mannix, man. Amazing. Anyways, so I didn't do much shopping this year at SDCC. I was going to show some nephew stuff, but I'm just going to keep this episode straight up. Maybe you could check my social media for my posts on some of the adventures. I was also had a chance to go pick up a few books for my niece Caitlin, which was super fun. And I've never really stood in line for stuff like that, but for her, I would do it. And it was super fun and worth it because I got apparently one of her favorite artists was there, and I got her to do a little remark for her. And then the kind of collaborator of that book that I got for her was also there. Here it is, by the name of Becky Clunan, also her collaborator, Eric Powell, who was a creator of Goon, who I knew of. Yeah, it was really fun, just kind of standing in line. And then she loved Sonic the Hedgehog, so I got to grab all 4 of the trade paperbacks and get them signed by the whole team, which is also happened to be there. Really fun, just doing stuff for my nephew, for my niece. My wife and I don't have kids, so that was a really good kind of parental experience. More than happy to spend time with them. So that's it for today, folks. Not only unpack some physical items for you today, also unpack some of my experiences in those videos. Let me know what your thoughts are, if you prefer a format like this, or just want to see stuff I unpack. Totally cool. Don't forget, if you're a Spider-Man fan or even a Magic the Gathering fan or just a collector, the giveaway is on. We have number 1, this very limited edition Spider-Man number 1 is the grand prize. All you gotta do is like, comment, subscribe below, and make sure your comment includes the word Spider-Verse. And that's your golden ticket. And you're gonna also, for second and third place, get a choice of one of these 3 Spider-Man starter decks. These are also very limited. Hopefully you'll take these decks and learn how to play Magic and join us at the next OAX. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at 400 subscribers and the next episode of Collector's Christmas to see who wins. Thank you.
Yo, 24/7 ink on the page. Heroes and villains in an endless rage. Panels like bars, every frame a stage. Comics the gospel, we break the cage.